Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Markham Celebrates Earth Day event. We're just waiting for a few more people to come in, and then we'll get started. There will be a poll that will be popped up on your screen shortly. If you just can kindly reply back to that. It's a simple poll, all anonymous. It just helps us at the City of Markham cater more information on home energy retrofits in the future for our community. Hi, everyone. If you're just joining us tonight for our event, we're just waiting a few more minutes for everyone to kind of just pop into our invite here. But we welcome you to our Markham Celebrates Earth Month event. We just have a really quick poll that has popped up on your screen. And we just ask that if you can kindly just fill that in. It's all anonymous. And these responses will really help us to cater more initiatives and programs to offer to our community on home energy retrofits or community energy. Great, thank you. So you can probably all see the results of the poll there. Thanks so much for everyone who answered. So again, just quickly, welcome to our Markham Celebrates Earth Month event. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're so happy to host our second virtual Earth Month event this year and have a very exciting project to share with you tonight. If we can go to the agenda, we'll just slowly build up to our feature event. So we're going to start off with just some housekeeping points for you on how you can answer questions or ask us questions to our project team. A quick land acknowledgement. I'm going to introduce our event hosts for the night. And then we have opening remarks from Mr. Paul Chang, Member of Parliament for the Markham Unionville riding. Then we have opening remarks from Mayor Frank Scarpiti. Then we move into the introduction of the Powerhouse Hybrid Pilot Project, introduce our panel of experts and our homeowners/participants in the project. And then we're moving into a live question and answer period with our panel of experts and homeowners. And then some really quick closing remarks. So for the housekeeping, if you're unaware, this event is recorded today. We do want to record it and then post it on yourvoicemarkham.ca/home energy retrofit, just for anyone who wasn't able to attend today. There's going to be a lot of great information shared as well. So you can always go back to the recording and listen to the event again if you missed a detail. Closed captioning is available for our event. Any technical support, so if you have any issues with hearing us or any Zoom capabilities aren't working for you, you can always let us know in the chat function. To ask a question to our project team later on in this event, there is a Q&A function. So that is different from the chat function. And all of these different functions are actually on the bottom of your Zoom page there. There's a toolbar. So you can take a look there and just use the appropriate one for whichever one you need help with. And then, as you can probably see already, we do have web links that will be posted on our chat box for the night. And this just helps give you a little bit more information on some of the initiatives and programs that we have with the City of Markham and our partners here today. So I want to start off with a quick land acknowledgement. We begin today by acknowledging the traditional territories of Indigenous peoples and their commitment to stewardship of the land. We acknowledge that communities encircle the north, west, south, and eastern directions in Haudenosaunee, Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, Seneca, Chippewa, and the current treaty holders, Mississauga of Credit Peoples. We share the responsibility with the caretakers of this land to ensure the dish is never empty and to restore relationships that are based on peace, friendship, and trust. We are committed to reconciliation, partnership, and enhanced understanding. So now I'd like to turn our attention to actually a very neat video that we created recently, and we're actually featuring for the first time at this event, where we are going to hear from local youth and their concerns on climate change.
When I think about the change in the climate, the first thing that comes to my mind is sort of the destruction of nature itself and the changes that were not supposed to happen but are unfortunately happening.
We are living on this one planet that we have one of. There's no other future. There's no other alternate reality in which we can face.
We're at a very pivotal moment in this climate fight, and every action matters.
You can't sit back and wait for things to be handed to you. You have to go out and actually seek these opportunities to, or make it your own in order to actually make a difference.
Young people can definitely make a difference. I think a lot of us doubt ourselves in how much of a difference we can make, but even the small changes can overall aggregate and make one big change.
I think we need to support each other, knowledge share with each other, find different resources, and also find what works for you. There are so many ways to live sustainably, whether you want to focus on food or transportation, housing, energy.
People forget that, I'm just one person, so if I don't make this change, it's not a huge deal. Maybe the next person will. But if we all think like this, nothing will really be done.
Climate change can be scary, but you can make a difference. And it's not going to be easy, but we're all in this together.
Make a difference, be a part of Net Zero today.
Okay, thank you. So the city is a huge supporter of local youth action, especially in sustainability. And really, we want to provide a glimpse into their thoughts and concerns on climate change and local action that could help with alleviating the change in the environment as well. And with us today, we actually have two of those youth leaders in that video joining us to host this event. So we have Kristen Ng, and we also have Melanie Yu, who will pop up on the screen in a second. And we're just so happy to have you both here and to help us host this event. We think you both are very strong leaders in sustainability, especially in the city of Markham, but also for the future and our generations in the future too. And I'm going to turn over to you, Melanie, first. Do you want to give a quick intro on who you are and why you're passionate about sustainability?
Absolutely. So good evening, everyone. My name is Melanie. I lived in Markham my whole life, born and raised. I'm currently completing my final semester at Ryerson University for Environment and Urban Sustainability. I've also recently joined the Sustainability Office in the city of Markham. And why I care about climate action. Well, in the video, as Mason mentioned, we really only have this one planet and we need to protect it because this is our future. We want a planet that is sustainable and resilient, filled with biodiversity, clean air, clean water, and have space for everyone to thrive. And as somebody who lives in Markham in a privileged position, I do believe that it's my responsibility to use the resources that I have access to and make the changes and choices that are going to be better for the planet, for my community, and also for myself. And I want future Melanie to be able to look back and say, I made choices that were good for me. I did what I could, and I made a difference because ultimately fighting climate change is to fight for a better future.
That's great. Thank you so much, Melanie. I think we all can definitely echo on your response there and think that it's just as important as, to protect our planet, but also to help our community live a cleaner lifestyle and environment. Krista, I'm going to turn to you. Brief introduction and also, why is climate action important to you?
Yeah, thank you for having me tonight. And so like Jen said, hi everybody, my name is Kristen, and like Melanie, I was born and raised in Markham as well. And right now I'm pursuing my Master's of Science in Environmental Sustainability at the University of Ottawa. And I'm going to be starting a position as a policy analyst at Environment and Climate Change Canada in May. So I'm really looking forward to that. And going back to your question of, why climate change is important to me. I think it has become very evident to many of us here, and that's why we're here today, that climate change is such an intersectional issue that continues to harm people, animals, and the environment. And if we don't change the way that we act today, we will be in serious trouble. So by understanding the repercussions we will face if we do not proceed with aggressive climate action, it's only right that I concern myself with these issues, understanding that this will be the fate of my future and all other young people today. So although it can be very difficult and discouraging to pursue climate action and activism, we must remind ourselves to stay optimistic and hopeful towards climate solutions and cooperations that we're seeing in our local and global communities. And we're at a very pivotal moment, like I had said in the video, where every action does matter and makes a difference. So it's really important to keep that in mind when we move forward.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing, Kristen and Melanie. I'm actually going to turn it to both of you to host or to take us on this journey of learning about, a sustainability project that we are so proud of to finally share with our community. It's a great innovative project. It just definitely shows leadership amongst all of our partners here, and especially in the city of Markham. So Melanie, Kristen, take it away.
Thank you. So yeah, like Jen said, we're going to start off our event with a video from one of our key partners, Natural Resources Canada. We're going to cue that up right now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm joining you from Markham Unionville, which is on the traditional unceded territories of the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe people. And I want to recognize all of the Indigenous people with a connection to this land. More than 5 decades after a Wisconsin senator spearheaded the first Earth Day in 1970, April 22nd is now considered the largest secular observance on the global calendar, marked by more than 1 billion people annually in some 190 countries. Unfortunately, the urgency of that first Earth Day has only grown over the past 52 years, prompting April to be declared Earth Month as a way to spark the action that is needed more than ever. Our government gets it. We know that time is growing short, and we are responding with an emission reduction plan that is one of the most detailed and ambitious in this world. This plan, our plan, is backed by more than $100 billion. We have already invested in climate action since our government was sworn in 6.5 years ago, including more than $10 billion to reduce the carbon footprint of our homes. And more than 1.1 million of that has been invested right here in Markham for the Powerhouse Hybrid Pilot Project, which is demonstrating what many studies have told us, that the smarter and more efficient use of energy could get us 1/3 of the way towards our climate goals. Our homes and buildings are a great place to start with energy efficiency measures, because the way we heat, cool, and power them accounts for 17% of Canada's greenhouse gas emission. That's why our federal budget this month features another $150 million for the Canada Green Building Strategy to strengthen building codes, promote greener construction, and increase climate resilience in existing buildings. And there's also another $200 million to create the Deep Retrofit Accelerator Initiative for larger projects. Because as electric utilities and the city of Markham are showing us, climate changes may be measured globally and can only be tracked locally. Today, our government congratulates you on your vision and the leadership, and we wish you continued success with this project. Our planet is counting on you. Thank you, Mixie.
Thank you, Natural Resources Canada, for your remarks and supporting climate action. And now we have a longtime sustainability champion here in the city of Markham. Please welcome Mayor Frank Scarpiti for a few opening words.
Well, thank you very much. And I just want to say a warm welcome to everyone. I really do appreciate the fact that so many people this evening have taken time out of their schedules to celebrate Earth Month, which is an important thing to do, but also to learn about some exciting initiatives that we have here in the city of Markham. And nothing gets me more inspired than listening to our youth. And I thought that opening video was in many respects inspiring and yet a call to action for all of us. And I think the only way that we can achieve net zero, that we can achieve a better climate, is in fact by working together. And so thank you to all the youth that were involved in the opening video. And it's great to see Kristen and Melanie act as our MCs this evening. They too have a particular strong interest in the environment, as you heard. And I remember last year's Earth Month celebration, we celebrated the children's storybook, The Adventures of the 905 team, that educates Markham residents and particularly children about climate change. And the 905 team itself was headed up by Kristen. And so Kristen, great to see you back and taking such an active role this year. And Melanie, I'm glad that you're part of Team Markham, and in particular our sustainability team and office. And great to have you as part of our team. And I think, as others have said, really fighting climate change is a responsibility of each and every one of us. No matter what we do, what role we play, we all have our part. It can be within our home, it can be within our community, our places of work, working alongside with community organizations and schools and volunteer clubs. It is absolutely the responsibility of everyone across the whole community here in Markham and certainly around the world. Aside from our youth, we have some very distinguished speakers tonight who are part of our panel, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from them as well. We have Naveen Goswami, Senior Science and Technology Advisor at Natural Resource Canada. Jerry Yin, who's Head of Grid Innovation and Green Energy and Technology at the Green Energy and Technology Center with Electra Utilities. Ravi Surgurdson, Manager of Technology Development at Enbridge Gas, and Dr. Vala Venkatesh, Academic Director at the Center for Urban Energy, Ryerson University. Also, Richard Laszlo, Founder and President of Laszlo Energy Services, Project Manager, and our very own Grant Seaman, Director of Sustainability and Asset Management at the City of Markham. And I'm also, and you'll hear more about them and you'll get a chance to certainly meet them and see them, but I'm really delighted that our Powerhouse Hybrid homeowners, a couple of them have been able to join us for this celebration tonight. Kujo Anamantadu, Ifat Asim, and Stephen Young. And again, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for agreeing to be part of our project and demonstrating really how easy it is to convert our homes into powerhouses, houses that generate clean energy, able to store clean energy, and then use clean energy that really reduces greenhouse emissions. And I know most people also like the fact that it lowers energy costs. I also want to acknowledge members of council that are here, and if others have joined us, I can, or maybe someone else can later in the program, recognize them, but I took a quick scan at the beginning of the meeting and want to welcome Ward 3 Councillor Reed McAlpine, who's joined us this evening, and also Ward 6 Councillor Amanda Colucci. And if others have joined since, we'll try to get you recognized later in the program. But fair to say that all the successes and the initiatives that we've undertaken in the city of Markham has always had great support around the council table. We can debate a lot of things at council, but when it comes to these initiatives, usually it's a very little debate and more about the agreement of what we need to do as a city. And again, in partnership with the community and in partnership with so others, as you'll hear about the Powerhouse Hybrid project. We're also fortunate in the city of Markham to have great staff. A lot of what we decide around the council table just wouldn't happen if it wasn't for their leadership, certainly bringing the type of recommendations and data and support to really provide the background for certain initiatives. Many ideas have also been generated around the council table, which then staff have a chance to research and again move forward on those initiatives. So I want to say thanks to our commissioner, Trinella Kane, and our sustainability office falls under her commission. And of course, I made mention of him earlier, our Director of Sustainability and Asset Management, Graham Seaman. And fair to say that Jennifer Wong, the person that you saw at the beginning of this program, is a great contributor in the Sustainability Office, along with her colleagues. And I thank them for the ongoing work that they do each and every day. The city of Markham is proud to be a green city and a leader in sustainability. And we are working towards a very important goal to fight climate change and reduce our carbon footprint. And we do it through a number of initiatives. One of the bigger initiatives that we have is the Markham Municipal Energy Plan. And our goal is to get to zero and to be net zero emissions by 2050. And really, it is many initiatives, but an important one right now is this Powerhouse Hybrid Pilot Project that we've undertaken. I'm very proud of this one because when we talk about partnerships, it just screams partnerships. It really does. And I want to thank all of those involved, the partnership with the City of Markham, Electra Utilities, Enbridge Gas, Ryerson University, and Natural Resources Canada, and of course, our 10 homeowners who, again, have opened up their homes and allowed for some of the transformation to take place within their homes. And as you'll see, they've opened them up and continue to work with us as we continue to monitor the success that they have with the program. This project is truly the first of its kind initiative in Canada, and it's aimed to empower households in Markham to both generate and store clean energy while initiating getting our homes to net zero energy emissions. The pilot project actually started back in 2018 with the launch of the program at Electra's Green Energy and Technology Center, otherwise known as the Great Center. And of course, the 10 Markham homeowners, and they opened up their homes, and we had the ability to install electrical and thermal equipment to minimize greenhouse gas emissions and producing power from cleaner sources. And just a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to visit one of the retrofitted homes, and I want to thank Cujo and AFAT for opening up your home, having us hear from you. And I have to tell you, I learned a fair bit just spending the little time that we had together. It was just wonderful to see how much you knew about the equipment that had been installed and the passion that you had for it. And you really had it even before we introduced you to this program, because you've been a longtime supporter of an electric vehicle, an owner of electric vehicles. So you were already on the path to making your contribution, and I saw it in the way that you spoke about the equipment in your house and you're great ambassadors. And I hope that people will really have an opportunity to hear you speak about your experience. I also want to take the opportunity not only to thank our partners for their commitment to utilizing innovative technologies and solutions and to build a clean and sustainable future, but I really want to thank everyone who's supported them, our community, our youth, the homeowners for playing a significant role in reducing Markham's overall emissions and supporting our goal to net zero by 2050. There is a lot to be proud of in our community, and it's because of homeowners like you who have taken an active interest, and you've indicated in a very tangible way that you too want to do your part to make our environment and our world a healthier place, a greener place for generations to come. So I encourage all of you to not only take in the information tonight, but come back to our website. learn more about some of these initiatives, see how you can retrofit your homes, because the only way that we are going to get to net zero by 2050 is if we do it together. And I think tonight you're going to hear how easy it is to do, and the examples which I think show us, like anything, how we can make a difference within our home, our community, our city, and ultimately, as others said in the video, how that just reverberates. If everyone does that around the world, we'll get to where we need to be, and we need to do it now. And I think that is another important message. It's not just what we're doing, but the fact that we're doing it now, and we need to do more, and we need to get more residents engaged in what truly is an exciting program. Thank you once again to all of our partners. Thank you, Melanie and Kristen, and again to all of our youth, because you're an inspiration and you truly say it best. It's a call to action for each and every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary Scarpiti, for your remarks. You know, your leadership in sustainability has made a real difference in Markham, and we look forward to seeing more innovation as we progress further and for a better future. And it's always been great growing up in Markham, knowing that we have such great leadership who really takes sustainability and the environment and our future seriously. So I do really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And now let's learn more about our Powerhouse Hybrid project by watching this short video.
Introducing Powerhouse Hybrid. Clean, renewable energy generated by solar panels can be used throughout your home or stored in a battery storage system powered with smart controls and sensors for later use. An electric vehicle charging unit even allows you to power your vehicle directly from your home with clean fuel. Any electricity you don't use is fed into the provincial grid to power neighboring communities with clean energy and drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions. A micro-combined heat and power system, tankless boiler, smart air handler, and an air source heat pump work together as a highly efficient hybrid heating and cooling system, producing hot water, heating and cooling while optimizing your home's electricity and natural gas usage. Reliable power, the comfort of automated controls, lower energy bills, and significantly reduced greenhouse gases are just some of the benefits. Powerhouse Hybrid creates a pathway for consumers and communities to embrace clean energy in a smart, efficient, and convenient way, helping us meet our carbon reduction goals while reducing the need to invest in costly grid infrastructure. Electra, discover the possibilities.
This is a one-of-a-kind project. It's so innovative. It's so exciting that it's happening right here in our own community, in my home of Markham. And I hope everyone is as excited as I am to really meet the experts and the panelists, all the partners and the homeowners in this project.
I couldn't agree more, Melanie. I can't wait to get started and to hear from our partners and our homeowners. So with that, I'd like to introduce some of our project partners and our speakers. So to start off, we have Naveen Goswami, who's a Senior Science and Technology Advisor at Natural Resource Canada. We have Jerry Yin, who's the Head of Grid Innovation, Green Energy and Technology Center at Electric Utilities. And we have Ravi Sigurdsson, who's a Manager at Technology Development at Sunbridge Gas.
In addition, we also have Graham Seaman, our Director of Sustainability and Asset Management in the City of Markham, Dr. Bala Venkatesh, who is the Academic Director at the Center for Urban Energy at Ryerson University, and our Project Manager, Richard Laszlo, Founder and President of Laszlo Energy Services. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
We are also very grateful to have two homeowners who participated in the Powerhouse Hybrid project with us today, both Ifat and Stephen, who will be chatting with us later on in the program. So thank you for sharing your time with us, everyone.
So let's get into it. We're going to start our discussion with some questions that Kristen and I have for our expert panel. And if anyone has additional questions they'd like to ask, we invite you to share them in the Q&A box, not the chat box, the Q&A box, which will be monitored by our team. And so to begin, I'd like to start with Ravi. Ravi, could you tell us how Enbridge is supporting the shift to a clean energy future?
Thank you, Melanie. As the global population grows, it's expected that energy usage is going to increase by 50% over the next 30 years. Getting to net zero emissions has never been more important for the environment. The question is, how do we get there? So from Enbridge's perspective, innovation and collaboration are key. We're working on bringing innovative energy solutions to market and collaborating with the governments, municipalities, partners such as the ones that are here with me on this call today. This approach will help ensure that we take practical and appropriate steps to significantly reduce GHGs while keeping energy affordable and making sure it's available when you need it most. Some of the specific actions that Enbridge is taking is we're targeting net zero emissions across our own operations. 2050, we're greening the gas supply with carbon neutral sources such as renewable natural gas and hydrogen. We're investing in low carbon end use technologies. For example, and you saw through the video, the smart controllers and hybrid heating that are part of this pilot. And a number of other low carbon technologies, such as highly efficient natural gas heat pumps. So there's a number of low carbon end use technology advancements that are underway that fit within this future energy mix. And of course, we're continuing to help Ontario homes and businesses save through our energy efficiency programs. I am very proud to work for a company that recognizes the importance of moving towards a clean energy future and is taking real action to help us get us there.
Thank you so much, Ravi, for your insights. It's great to know about all the great innovation that Enbridge is pursuing and leading. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now we're going to move on for a question with Jerry from Electra. And the question is, thinking of the longer potential of a project like Powerhouse Hybrid, what are some of the benefits to the grid and the local communities?
Great question. Thank you very much. While making clean energy supply investment is a primary focus of our decarbonization efforts, a new trend that is standing out is the power of consumers in delivering the needed change. The aggregate impact of individual consumer actions on decarbonization is not only profound, but also one of the fast and cost-effective ways for communities to make progress towards their climate change goals. Project like Powerhouse Hybrid, which is home-based clean power generation, helps to empower consumers to generating their own clean energy. And we're hoping that in the near future, we can take that even further by giving consumers the opportunity to sell that clean energy to the grid, to act as their own small business. This will enable our province to buy clean energy from our community rather than building large, expensive infrastructure. And it will help move our energy from one large centralized source to a decentralized, more clean system, where consumer can share energy back with the grid to power our communities with clean energy. And ultimately, it will lower costs in the long run and help move us to a net zero community. Thank you.
Wow, Jerry, that's so cool to hear how we're already looking into the future of making our homeowners into small business owners. That's so innovative. That's amazing to hear. And so, Naveen, I want to move on with another question. What are some aspects of this project that were interesting from Natural Resources Canada's Smart Grid program as a funder of electricity innovation in Canada?
Thanks, Melanie. And Kristen, by the way, I'm looking forward to working with you when you start your new role at ECCC. So nice to meet you both. And so the Smart Grid program kicked off in 2018, and primarily as a way for the Government of Canada to meet its policy objectives around green reductions to help mitigate climate change. Through this program, the federal government is contributing approximately $100 million over 5 years in more than 20 demonstration and deployment projects with utilities and system operators across the country, including the Powerhouse Hybrid project with Electra. During the intake process for our program, this demonstration project was noted for its ability to respond to a few key areas that were part of our evaluation criteria. Firstly, there was potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions directly through the use of and control of distributed energy resources like solar PV, batteries, electric vehicles, and micro-combined heat and power units, which I'd like to note is something relatively new for Canada. Also, this project was also capable of improving the utilization of existing assets on the electricity grid and improving overall grid efficiency. As well, it allowed for increasing the amount of system flexibility to accommodate variable renewable energy resources on the grid. Overall, I would say that this project provides an example of a few different trends we see emerging from the smart energy systems of the future, namely, and they're easy to remember because they go by 3 Ds, it's digitalization, so leveraging smart devices and connectivity, decarbonization, through the optimization of energy devices to reduce the GHG impact of the grid, and decentralization, also through the use of distributed generation and other resources that change the architecture and topology of how energy flows and is controlled. Furthermore, this project is an example of what we call sector coupling. So it's bringing together 2 different sectors, in this case, gas and electricity, to provide an optimized solution that leverages the benefits of both of these. Something very important to note is that this project has a very interesting mix of stakeholders involved. We have the city, the natural gas utility, and the electric utility all working together alongside homeowners to co-develop and deliver a solution that's mutually beneficial with an academic partner that will help analyze and disseminate the results. I think it's projects like these that can really find those win-win opportunities and that will help us get towards sustainability, reliability, and affordability of our energy systems in Canada. So those are some of the reasons why I think the program is really interested in this project.
Great, thank you, Naveen. And wow, that was so insightful. It's really encouraging as a young person to hear about all the levels of collaboration that's happening at the municipal and the federal level, and how it's also collaborating with like energy and gas companies. So really great to hear. Thank you for sharing your insights, and I can't wait to see you out in Ottawa as well. So the next question I have is for Richard, and that is that there are many technologies that are used in this pilot project. So could you share with us, how these technologies were selected and what was the biggest challenge to install them in these homes?
Sure, thanks, Kristen. So a big part of what we were trying to do with this project was to design a single family home retrofit using all possible technologies together. So the expectation isn't that all customers will install all these technologies. It's a lot for any one household to take on at once. But by picking a range of technologies, we're showing the art of the possible. So homeowners are able to pick and choose different equipment to reach their own goals. If it's solar or batteries or electric vehicle charging, tankless hot water, or space heating with a heat pump. The part of the project that makes this so challenging is in working out all the controls. We're constantly taking in data and sending commands to all the different pieces of equipment. The leading edge part of this is how we are integrating all this equipment as a system and optimizing to reduce carbon emissions. It's really exciting to see the equipment working, delivering significant environmental gains, and while keeping customers comfortable and happy in their homes.
Thanks so much, Richard. I think that's really important to remember that home retrofits, it seems like this massive project, but by testing everything at once, then you can kind of cue in and see what works for you, what doesn't. And as I mentioned in the youth video, it's finding what works for you. So that's really great to hear. And so Dr. Venkatesh, I have a question for you now. What does the Center for Urban Energy do? And how does this project support research and develop home energy? Energy research, sorry.
Thanks, Melanie. Happy to be here. To answer your first question, the Center for Urban Energy was founded at Ryerson in 2010. Our founding sponsors were Toronto Hydro, Hydro One, and the IESO, Independent Electricity System Operator. Since then, we've done about $30 million of contract research on different topics like smart grids, energy storage, electric vehicles, and so on. We also operate a graduate program at the center on energy and innovation. And we also have an incubator where we incubate about 10 to 15 companies at any given time. Now, coming to the second part of your question, how does this project support research and development on home energy retrofits? Now, this is an exciting project. And I don't want to repeat all that Naveen mentioned and everybody else mentioned on this call, but this project basically allows us to arbitrage between different types of energy sources, which will help us reduce cost, which of course everybody loves, and also reduce pollution as we go forward. So this is an exciting opportunity. We should do more of these projects so that we can find out different methods, different solutions that can tell us what we can do as we go forward to a zero carbon 2050. So that's my take on this.
Great, thank you, Dr. Venkatesh, for your insights. That was lovely. And now, before I move into my last question with Graham, I just want to acknowledge that we have such great support in the city of Markham. We actually still have Councillor Khalid and Councillor Usman, who has joined us already. So I just wanted to do that shout out and recognize all the support that we have around sustainability in our city. So now moving on to our last question with our expert panels to Graham. It's what did the city and its partners learn from PAH, and what's next after this?
It's nice to be bringing up the back end of this conversation, and it's been really interesting. I think that these problems that we're trying to solve with respect to climate change are so big, so wicked, that you can't do it alone. You have to do it in partnership. And I really want to express a gratitude and appreciation for the partners that we have here with our friends from Electra, Enbridge, Ryerson, Enercan, Laszlo Energy Services. It took everybody a very significant amount of effort over a number of years through COVID to make this happen. So great partnerships are really something that we learned here, and we always try to be an excellent partner in the city, and particularly in sustainability and asset management. What's next? I think Richard alluded to it. It's not the whole technology stack. It's not every piece of this. It's what portions can we take and move to scale rapidly and deploy in Markham. You know, Jennifer and I have been working on this project and sustainability in Markham for a number of years, and we really feel that we need to move to a broad, large-scale delivery of this. And I know that we have the partners around the table, and we're building the technology know-how. So look for us to be bringing something big that should be able to touch every home. That's our objective over the next couple of years, to build that kind of program, because we require aggressive moves to reduce the emissions in our community if we want to meet our objectives of net zero 2050. So thank you. Thank you everybody for your time. Thank you everybody for your effort. And thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks so much, Graham. I couldn't agree more. The time to act is now, and we do need these aggressive actions. It's great that we are working as a city and with so many amazing partners. As a university student, group projects are never easy, so it's amazing to see this collaborative effort, absolutely. And now I want to move into some live questions from our audience. The first one is from Asini. What are some of the initial costs for a homeowner to start putting a Powerhouse solar grid on their home? And a part two of the question is, are there government rebates that homeowners can use? Part three is, are there industry rebates? I'm not sure who wants to answer this. Perhaps Jerry, you'd like to give it a start?
Absolutely. Great question though. The cost really depends on a number of variables but I will share our cost to give you some sort of a range. Although I want to keep in mind that this may not be comparable to your unique needs, and that costs have likely come down. So from the pilots, depending on the home, the total cost range anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 per home across all the technologies. That includes additional technologies to test the signals of GHG emissions and compatibility with the grid. If you were to do this today, this may be close to $30,000 to $50,000. But that really depending on a number of factors. In the pilot, we have chosen a range of technology to test and demonstrate the art of the possible, like Richard pointed out early on. The expectation isn't that all customers will install all those technologies. It's a lot for any one household to take on all at once. Homeowners will be able to pick and choose different equipment to reach their own goals. Residential technology is rapidly becoming cheaper. Both solar and battery prices have already coming down and are expected to keeping coming down as well. So it's hard to provide a total cost. Yes, you also need to consider the potential saving on your electricity and gas bill. And even more importantly, future opportunities to leveraging this technology to earn incentive or generate revenue to sell clean energy to the grid, acting as your own small business. So although it's hard to predict total cost, we can say that considering the decreasing cost due savings and future incentive opportunities, we're anticipating that the clean retrofits such as Powerhouse Hybrid will be an affordable option for consumers.
Melanie, I can weigh in. I think the second part of the question was around incentives. So Enbridge does have a demand side management program. We've been engaged in that since 1995. And there are incentives in terms of energy efficiency pieces. So I would go to Enbridge Gas website, take a look at the demand side management program for incentives there. The other point I'd make, and Richard alluded to this earlier, is this PHH pilot was really a number of permutations. It was the bells and whistles, I'll call it, of hybrid heating. So there might be simpler combinations of that could work for a particular household. And it really just depends on, you know, how many people are living in your home, where are you, how do you want to use it, do you have a pool? There's many different factors. So I'd say for anybody who's interested in a little bit more information on that, we do have some tech experts. We've got a website, techdevelopment@enbridgegas.com. So I'd encourage you to, you know, reach out there, and then, you know, if there's specific questions in terms of specific incentives you're interested in, or technologies that you think could work from the home, I'd encourage you to reach out to that.
Thanks so much, Jerry and Ravi, for your insights. It's definitely a big project to take on and a lot to consider. So it's great to have all these different resources and considerations to make. And I'm going to ask another live question. Perhaps, Naveen, you might want to tackle this one. It's from an anonymous participant today. The question is, what is the current percentage of clean energy that Canada produces?
Yeah, that's a good question. I want to say it's somewhere in the range of 80%. Like, we're pretty clean in Canada. But the question remains is, how are we going to deal with additional demand in the future? So a lot of our energy, our clean electricity, is coming from hydro resources, and to expand those resources is really tricky. So moving forward in the next few years, as we're seeing increased electrification, heating loads are becoming electric in some cases, electric vehicles are coming online, overall demand is increasing. We need to find ways to either manage the demand to help reduce the requirement for additional supply, or find cleaner supply resources. And so leveraging things like solar and wind are interesting possibilities that we're looking at, and finding ways to deal with their variability is one of the challenges that we currently face. And so energy storage and these types of technologies, as well as demand side management, can really unlock some of these pathways towards keeping our grid clean in the future.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Naveen. I'm hearing a lot of different technologies that are involved. It's really exciting. And I'm a very visual person. So I know we have some photos of this technology. I'm wondering if, Richard, you'd like to walk us through some of the technology and tell us more about what goes where inside of a home, perhaps, if we can pull up some photos.
Okay, so what you see here are the solar panels on the roof, and We installed 3.3 kilowatts of solar panels on all 10 homes. The preference was for south-facing roofs to maximize solar generation, but that wasn't always possible, and that's okay. What's more important is to have all the panels pointing the same direction to avoid having big differences in generation between the different panels. And you can see the panels need to avoid covering any roof vents or chimneys, ducting, or any other obstructions. And sometimes that can be a real challenge, but we got it working on all the homes. This next photo, or these photos, show the Sunbridge battery. That's the big white box. And that can store up to 11.6 kilowatt hours of electricity, and it can output up to 6 kilowatts at any time. So at full charge, that's roughly enough to run a typical home for between 5 and 10 hours, depending on usage. The battery is paired with the solar panels, and they're all connected to a critical load panel or backup panel that can provide backup power should there be a power outage. The box also includes the Sunbridge Gateway, which is the brains of the system. It's the device that sends all the commands to the other equipment in the home, along with a dedicated modem for communications. The electric vehicle charger, or EV charger, is a Flow Home Level 2 charger. Under normal conditions, it draws about 30 amps, but to reduce carbon as much as possible, we curtailed the charging down to about 6 amps during peak times in the morning and evening during weekdays, when the electricity system is at peak and the grid supplied power is most carbon intensive. Now moving to the utility room, you can see the white box on the ground is an iFlow smart air handler. It has a blower for moving hot or cold air through the home's existing ductwork. And it is smart because it can switch from heating with the electric heat pump, which we'll see later, or the gas tankless boiler, depending on temperature and how carbon intensive the grid supplied electricity is. And that's really the hybrid heating part of this project. The big cylindrical tank next to the air handler is similar to one found in many homes, but it doesn't actually heat the water itself. It's really a large storage tank that acts as a big thermal battery. We can see the device resting on the ground is an ASIN micro combined heat and power unit, and the electronic device is a dedicated thermostat we use to turn it on and off and send other commands. The micro combined heat and power unit converts natural gas to electricity and hot water, which is then stored in that hot water tank. To ensure that we reduce carbon as much as possible, the micro CHP unit only runs during peak times when the grid supplied electricity was the most carbon intensive. The white device on the wall is a Navian tankless boiler that supplies hot water for both domestic hot water and space heating via the iFlow air handler. And finally, on the exterior of the home is the air source heat pump. This incredible piece of equipment acts as an air conditioner in the summer, but it has a reversing valve inside that allows it to heat homes when it's cold out. And it's most efficient when it's above about 0 degrees Celsius. So this hybrid heating project switches the source of heating from the air source heat pump and the tankless boiler, again, depending on outside air temperature and how carbon intensive the grid supplied electricity is, so that we can reduce carbon as much as possible. It's a lot of equipment, and these technologies come together to make up what we call the Powerhouse Hybrid House. And the real challenge with the project, as I said, was getting it all integrated and optimized to reduce carbon emissions as much as we could, while still improving home comfort and making it easy to use for the customers, for the homeowners, hassle-free for everyone who participated in the project.
Thanks so much, Richard. It's so cool to see it in photos and inside of homes. And so thank you for walking us through all of that. Oh, excuse me. And I do still see a lot of questions coming in. So now I'm going to ask another question to Graham. And also just a reminder to all of our viewers right now, please do keep sending in your questions. They are being recorded and captured by our team, and they will be shared on our website at Your Voice Markham under the Powerhouse Hybrid Home Retrofits page. So send them in and they will be answered at a later time. So Graham, Ronald asks, I'm trying to find out more how to be green for my home, but I find that replacing existing infrastructure like furnace, boilers, etc., very expensive, even with rebates. It feels like that going green is reserved for higher income families. Can we have a program that will help with financing these initiatives on a monthly 0% interest for Markham residents?
Certainly something that we're looking at, and I would agree. You know, as a homeowner and a parent, and you know, trying to make my way in this world, everybody sees these as challenges. There is a business case to be gotten in reducing your costs over time. I think any incentives, or in our sense, in Markham, what we're thinking about is how to make this easy. And if financing is an issue, or if access or understanding the technologies, making even the decision to start is an issue, and we understand that it is. If you look at the questions, they're very significant. We will work on addressing that. As far as incentives for reducing it, at this time, it's not being considered for the city. However, the federal government and our utility partners with the Ontario Energy Board do have incentives available for low-income families and low-income households and operations to help them make these investments as well. So I'd encourage you to check out the respective web pages of Enbridge and Electra for lower-income household assistance. But we will certainly keep that in mind as we build our programs.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Graham. There are so many moving parts. I really appreciate the honesty and the opportunities for such. And also, just a reminder to all of our participants right now that we will be answering all of the questions that you put into the Q&A. We just unfortunately don't have the time to answer all of them live, but they will be posted on the Your Voice Markham webpage. And so this is probably going to be the last question for our expert panel before we move to our homeowners. And this is an anonymous question for Richard. What was the grid supply during winter months when it is mostly cloudy and battery storage is reduced due to the cold?
So that is a good question. The grid supplied electricity was used to power any home appliances and electronics, lighting in the home. For the space heating and hot water, when it was below 0 degrees, that would have been supplied by the tankless boiler, which is a very efficient way of producing hot water. And that hot water was then used in the air handler to distribute hot air to the home. Some of the homes also had a micro combined heat and power unit, and that unit again only ran when during peak times of the winter, and again supplied hot water, which was used for domestic hot water as well as space heating.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Richard. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for our expert panel. I do really appreciate all of your time, and also thank you to everyone who has submitted a question. It's great to see the interest in this project. And so thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Yeah, just to echo what Melanie had just said, it's been great to have the expert panelists come here tonight and talk to some local Markham residents about some of the burning questions that they had. Hopefully people learn things about what they can do in the local level to conquer climate change in their everyday lives. So thank you very much, everybody. Now I'd like to move on to meet some of our project homeowners and hear about their experiences and insights while pursuing this project. So I'd like to introduce our homeowners, Stephen and Ifat, that we have with us tonight. So welcome, both of you.
Thank you so much. It's so great to see you here, seeing, you're part of our community, you're residents just like us. And I'm sure a lot of our attendees tonight are going to have some amazing questions to ask you. Again, we have some that we want to get us started off on. So Stephen, I'd like to ask you, what were your first impressions or reactions when you initially heard about the program?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me participate tonight. Yeah, we were super excited when we first heard about this. We had just purchased our electric vehicle, so we were actually researching and looking into ways to further reduce our carbon footprint. So yeah, we're just super keen and excited to learn about these technologies and see them firsthand. So yeah, no, it was just a great opportunity that we were really happy to learn about and participate in.
That's great. Thank you, Stephen. And it's so great to know that you're really liking all the retrofits that were put into your home. That's awesome. My next question I have is for Ifad, and it's, were you familiar with the technology before the devices were installed in your home?
Good evening, everybody. So before we were introduced to this pilot project, we had no idea that there was this type of technology that existed today. We were aware of solar panels, as most people are, but we had no idea that there was this fully integrated system that existed, which includes solar panels and battery storage and a number of different thermal technologies, which are all working together to use multiple energy sources to heat our water, to charge our electrical vehicle, and to meet all of our energy needs. All of these systems help us to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and our carbon footprint. So we were very impressed from the start, and we knew we wanted to be involved from the start.
That's so amazing to hear, Ifat. And now that you've learned about all these technologies and lived with them, I have another question for you. With these techs now in your home, can you tell us what the experience was like? Was it easy to set up? What is management like?
We were really pleasantly surprised and impressed with how easy and seamless the entire integration was. You really can't tell that there's so much equipment in our home. The equipment is very neat. It's very quiet. Everything is automatic. So we really didn't have to do a thing, and there's no maintenance on our part. So it's been a very easy process.
That's wonderful to hear. I bet a lot of homeowners out there tonight, those are some concerns that might come to mind when they want to retrofit their home. So hearing that it was an ease and it wasn't a burden is great to hear. So thank you for sharing that. My next question I have is for Stephen, and it's, would you say having these technologies or participating in this pilot empowered you to generate your own clean energy and move closer to a net zero home?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess one of the kind of auxiliary technologies that we have access to is actually kind of like an app that where you can see your instantaneous real-time energy consumption and generation. So just having that there kind of just makes you more conscious of your energy usage. So you become more aware of it, and you want to conserve more energy. And it also shows your energy production. And just, kind of seeing the two numbers next to each other, you just kind of want more generation. You want more just seeing those numbers. So yeah, we actually have kind of been inspired to want to install more solar panels. So yeah, we totally want to move closer to being net zero. We're not quite there yet, but yeah, we want to generate more electricity through the solar panels, and yeah, just take that step closer to being net zero completely.
That's so great to hear, Stephen. It sounds like there's really a snowball of you get started, and it sounds like you're really hooked on there. So I want to ask you, did you actually get to share your clean energy with your local community?
Yeah. So again, through this app, we can see where our electricity is coming from, whether it's coming from the grid or from the battery or from the solar panels directly, and we can actually also see where excess energy is going. So we actually know exactly when electricity is being fed into the grid. So yeah, no, it's completely seamless. We don't have to do anything. We don't need to flip a switch to say, we have excess and send it to the grid or whatever. And again, at the end of at the end of the billing cycle, we get our hydro bill, and you actually see a summary of your net usage. So we see our usage has been deducted, or our generation has been deducted from our usage. So we actually get that breakdown of how much we generate versus how much we use. So that actually gets reflected in our billing as well. So yeah, no, we totally supplied energy back to the grid.
That's wonderful to hear, Stephen, how it works so seamlessly and how it functions really well for your lifestyle. So thank you for sharing that. I have one more question I have for Ifat, and it's if you had to do it all over again, would you participate again?
Oh, definitely. We're so proud to be part of this project. We were so excited to be part of this project. You know, we're the only home on our street with solar panels. We get so many curious neighbors asking us questions about how they can participate in something similar. They also have so many questions about how they can take little steps to make their homes more energy efficient. And now we have the knowledge to share with them, right? You know, I'll give you a small example. During the last, or one of the big snowstorms we had last winter, the power went out in our area, and we were the only home on the street that was left with power because of this project. And we actually had a neighbor that came over and rang our doorbell and asked if they could charge their phone because they had a very important phone call to make and that there hadn't been power in a couple of hours. So, you know, just a small example of the benefits of this technology. Definitely we would participate again, absolutely.
That's so amazing to hear, the self-resiliency and the ability to use what you generate. That's so amazing to hear. And now I want to look at some live questions from Asini. Do the homeowners here tonight, are you only using your own generated electricity, or do you also use outside power? Stephen, why don't you start? And then Ifat, if you'd like to add on anything else.
Sure, yeah. So like I said, we are not yet at the point of being net zero. We do still draw power from the grid. You know, particularly during the winter months when there is less sunlight or if the panels are completely covered with snow, generation is lower. And another thing is if you're charging an electric vehicle, depending on your consumption, that can actually consume a fair bit of electricity. So you may not necessarily be able to generate enough power to charge your car as well. So we do pull off the grid. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I was so keen on wanting to install more solar panels, because you know, we just kind of want to get to the point where we can actually produce as much as we consume, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, we've had the same experience as Steve, and especially during the winter months. We found, so I mean, our goal is kind of the same. My husband is very interested in getting additional solar panels as well. So hopefully we can reach that goal to get to net zero, but it's been pretty much the same, the experience.
Amazing, thank you for sharing. And now I have another live question from Cherie. What is the app you are using to see power generation? Stephen, would you like to give it a go?
Sure, it's through Sunbridge. It's you know, to be honest, I don't know the whole back end. Richard probably can speak to that a little bit better. But I believe our system communicates, like the solar panels together with the battery backup and the electric vehicle charger all communicates to these control systems. And I believe all of that's coordinated through Sunbridge. And we can access our data, like our consumption and production data through their portal.
Cool. And I see that Richard is hanging out right there, eager to jump in. Richard, did you want to add on anything?
No, that's it. Steve got it. I mean, Sunbridge is really the brains of the system and controls the equipment, all the electrical equipment. So yeah, Steve, you got it. You got it perfect.
Steve, we should have had you as part of the expert panel. That's amazing.
It's been a great experience learning about things, and it's really cool. This technology it's really neat.
Amazing. And so, Ifat, is there anything you want to add on? How do you find using the app? Is it user friendly? What is it like? What's the experience?
The experience, yeah, it's been very user-friendly. We haven't had any issues. I mean, overall, when it comes down to it, this project, like I said, has been such a positive experience, reducing our carbon footprint, making our home more energy efficient, lowering our energy bills. We find that our home comforts have improved in some ways, and just the learning experience has been so amazing, learning about all of the benefits of these technologies and learning about these technologies. So anybody, who has qualms about this or questions, I would say definitely start in small steps, make these changes. You won't regret it. It's been a wonderful experience.
That's so amazing to hear. And so we're almost wrapping up on the time now. Do you have any final words of advice? If anybody is kind of on the fence, what would you say to them? What are maybe some considerations that you wish you knew before you started this project? Any words of wisdom? Ifat, would you like to start? And then I'll have Stephen conclude.
I think I kind of pretty much summed it up when I was answering in the last questions, but we didn't encounter any issues. So like I said, the entire implementation was very seamless. All of the experts who worked on our home were so forthcoming with information and were able to teach us so much. And all the technology has been so simple since it's been installed. Like I said, pretty much a zero maintenance, and it feels really good to make such an impact in terms of reducing our greenhouse gas emissions, in terms of reducing our carbon footprint. So there's a real sense of fulfillment and helping the environment as well. So definitely, if anybody is considering implementing these technologies, I say take the plunge all the way.
Yeah, I would say the exact same thing. It wasn't disruptive at all. The installations were it wasn't like any other kind of renovation. It was, it wasn't disruptive. We were still able to live in our home. And yeah, just, take that first small step, right? Like, you don't need to retrofit your entire house with, every single piece of technology. Take those first steps and, just take the plunge and you won't regret it. You're happy with reducing your carbon footprint and in the long run you might save a few dollars off of your utility bills. So it's been great.
That's so amazing to hear. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. It really makes me want to also take the first step and, snowball one step at a time. And this is such an innovative project, reducing emissions, and it's in my own home community. And I don't know about you, Kristen, but I've definitely had a lot of fun learning tonight. I'd really like to thank everybody who's been with us tonight. That's unfortunately all the time that we have today for our Q&A. And again, if we weren't able to get to your questions, fear not, they have been saved by our team and will be answered on the Your Voice Markham Home Energy Retrofits page in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, just like Melanie said, I know we have a lot of great questions coming in, and we're definitely going to get to them if you visit the Your Voice Markham Home Energy Retrofit page. We just don't have enough time to get to them tonight, but we are more than happy to get to them later on, so stay tuned for those.
Yeah, so finally, of course, we'd want to thank our partners, experts, homeowners for sharing their time and insights with us. And also thank you to all of you for listening and submitting questions. As we near the end of our event, we're going to launch a second poll to see how everyone is feeling towards your next home energy retrofit. So you'll see it pop up on your screen, and we'll give everyone about 30 seconds to answer. And again, just a reminder, these are anonymous, so feel free to answer honestly. And we'd love to hear how you feel.
And I think we're just waiting for the last couple of results to roll in, and then we can publish the results. Great. So I'll just leave these here for everybody to look at. of what maybe your neighbors are thinking about doing for home retrofitting in the future. Yeah, it's been really great tonight to speak to our experts and our homeowners, as well as be with a lot of Markham residents here tonight and learn about the great technology that may be open and offered to people in our community. Through my schooling, I've learned that to move forward, we really do need to assume clean energy technology. And I know it might not be easy, but we're just moving in the right direction with the city, and I think it's a great step forward. So thank you everybody for being here tonight and to attending our event.
I completely agree, Kristen. And I think my biggest worry is always like home retrofits. It seems like you're completely flipping your house inside out, but it's really not. You can pick and choose what works for you. And to hear the perspectives from the homeowners, to see these are real people in our community who have taken the first steps to becoming cleaner and greener. And it's achievable, it's manageable, and I don't know, I'm just really excited and really appreciative of the opportunity to speak with our experts this evening. And it's not as scary as it seems. And Earth Month is really important to me, but of course we live on this earth every day. So I think every day should be Earth Day, every month should be Earth Month. But tonight especially has been exceptionally educational. So again, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. I will now pass it back to Jennifer for closing remarks.
Thank you, Melanie and Kristen. Really, I think you've really hosted our event very well tonight. And just to close out our event, I just want to provide some upcoming Earth Month activities and webinars. There was a lot of interest in this topic today. And as Melanie and Kristen have mentioned, we have taken down all of the questions that have come through our Q&A and hope to address them on a later date and post them on our Your Voice Markham /home energy retrofits page. So if you're not, we are going to try and get through these questions like everyone has asked. In the time being, April 21st and the 28th from 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. You don't have to attend both, but there are 2 sessions offered. Humber College and Enbridge Gas are partnering together to offer a home efficiency retrofit orientation program. This is where you're going to learn more about the home energy retrofits that you can do for your home. So, other than Powerhouse Hybrid, we have other programs that we have partnered with, our local partners to offer to our community. This is a very good example of that. And I believe we have given you the link in the chat. So if you want to click on that, you'll get directly led into the registration there, and you can enter that free the free webinar. It is a first come, first serve. And there will be other dates past April if these dates don't work for you. Then we move into April 22nd. This is Earth Day. We have 2 different events happening. Seed Starting Workshop. It's a free event held at NE Community Center from 4:30 to 6. Then we also have an Earth Day game event. Like Kristen did last year, she did a storybook on energy for children to learn more about energy. We have a new group of youth this year who actually made a Snakes and Ladders type game on learning about local food and healthy food. So we do ask if you are interested, if you have children, join us for that night. It's hosted by our partners at Markham Public Library, and you'll meet the youth that actually created the game as well. And then until April 30th, so this is active, we have a photo contest as part of our Earth Month campaign. So if you haven't heard of it, definitely please click on the link or visit markham.ca Earth Month and you'll see details there. We are giving away 2 prizes, and all you have to do is post a picture of something that resonates sustainability to you, or Earth Day, or how you want to celebrate Earth Day, and use the hashtag Green Markham to enter into the contest. And like I said, if you want to learn more about these programs and other programs that we have going on, markham.ca/Earth Month is where you want to head to. Any additional questions on our projects today, or any other sustainability projects or comments that you want to add, you can always direct them to sustainability@markham.ca. Our team is there, and we can definitely help you with any inquiries that you have. And again, thank you so much for joining us, and happy Earth Month. Oh, and sorry, just one last thing. I do want to thank all of our partners that were available today to provide all the information that we've heard. Shout out to Electric Utilities, Enbridge Gas, Ryerson University, Natural Resources Canada, Markham Public Library for helping to host this event tonight. as well as our two hosts, Melanie Yu and Kristen A. Thank you so much for being here and for helping us host this event tonight.